So my name's Alex Gagnon, AG, and I want to just make a small talk. I mean, what is the art operation at this place called the Historiotheque? Well, you're at the Historiotheque right now. It's my art studio slash research lab, sound design laboratory. It functions as an art studio for painting, as a design studio for digital design, and for sound design, and also as a research lab where I do experiments and I research various things, mostly in the humanities, philosophy, phenomenology. And the Historiotheque it's the name of this place, which has had many iterations. I've moved about 15 times the entire archives, and I have an archive that I maintain where I live. And Historiotheque comes from histor, the Greek, which is witness, and theca, which is box. So it's a witness box. But I mean, I have no pretension of being a priest or anything of the sort. There's no mystery or magic involved. It's just an art studio, and I gave that the name witness box because I'm, bearing witness to reality, to society, to the world, to the cosmos, if you will. As an artist, that's what I do. I bear witness to first witness testimony to the things around me, to the world around me. So I'm a realist, really, when it comes down to it, a naturalist even. I mean, or impressionist, if you will. I mean, I get impressions of reality and I transform it into an artistic expression. I have three modes of expression. I have images, I have sounds, and I have writing. So I write a lot of novels. I used to write a lot of poetry. I've written thousands of pages of poetry, and I write philosophical essays. So those three modes of expression are important to me, and that's why I built the Historiotheque as an interdisciplinary art research laboratory. And the Historiotheque idea comes from way back when, I lived with a bunch of people that came from France and from Africa, from the world, francophonie, like we call it, the French-speaking world. And we lived in this duplex, and they had an organization which did philanthropy through the arts and culture, and I happened to work for them as the sort of secretary, taking the minutes of their meetings, whatever they had, the board of directors, and I would meet the president. I would do a quick 15-minute rundown of what I had captured from, and I wanted to videotape the board meetings, but they wouldn't let me. But in any case, so eventually I also took care of security, and I took care of I wrote all the mission and vision statements and all the content for the website. I was really involved in this. It's a non-profit organization, which I don't know if it still exists. This was around 2008, 2009. And so they had tasked me to build an art studio, a painting workshop. So we had an outdoor court space, we'll say, courtyard, I guess. And there was a part that had a ceiling, so it had a roof, and so I was going to build, in the summer I was going to build a studio, and I was building it, but I kept being interrupted, and I would write things on my blackboard, and people would erase and scribble, and they would be destroying and vandalizing my work. So I wasn't able to build it, but then I had the vision. I was like, well, this duplex should just be an art house. We'd have the bottom floor with the offices, upstairs we could have a studio, we could have the archives, we could have everything, have security, and we could all be working in what I ended up calling the Historiotheque, which was this art house concept. And it's followed me ever since. I really do want to build I am probably going to be moving again the Historiotheque to a new location where I have much more studio space, where I'll be able to work on larger pieces, because now, I'm just working on these small little thin pieces of paper where, because every time I would work on large formats, I would end up having to move into a smaller place, and I wasn't able to bring these large 4 feet by 6 feet or by 5 feet paintings, so I would end up having to throw them by the curbside, literally throw them in the garbage. And that was really tough. It's almost traumatizing to have your life's work thrown in the garbage, and no one would come and pick them up. I would try to get people. I'd say, come and pick them up, bring them to your place, so they save the paintings. And in a way, I almost felt persecuted. Like I felt like history itself was coming down on me, coming hard, and stopping, interrupting me. And I even came up with the interference theory, where we're an artist that creates value in a new location and brings they bring value to the place, and then I don't know, suddenly businesses pop up, and I got this from Jordan Peterson too, where businesses pop up and they eventually like eject the artist. But in interference theory, it's that the action of creating, first you do it unbeknownst to people. You're working in your studio and you're creating art and creating value out of nothing, basically out of recycled materials. You're creating valuable objects, and people are like, oh, whatever, he's an artist, he's crazy. And they started realizing, wow, there's something emanating from the studio space, like a side of this light or something. And then they get curious, and I call it avarice of the eyes, where I can't do it myself, but they get this greed in their eyes, and where they want to see what the artist is working on. They want to see that valuable thing. They think they're hiding riches or something, bars of gold and diamonds, whatever. And eventually they break into your studio and they vandalize your entire. That's happened to me. They vandalized my entire history project. Like they were nailing it to the walls in this old room. They told me, we're happy, we made wallpaper with your art. You should be happy. We did it for you, And I was like, you destroyed my entire collection, you jackasses, And that was a bad experience. But so that's the interference here, where it seems like there's a historical force, these invisible forces that want to stop the artists from doing their work, and it takes great perseverance and internal discipline. Like, it doesn't show, but I'm really doing a kind of Tai Chi Qigong right now, where I'm maintaining this deep inner core strength, and where I do Feldenkrais too, so I'm always in movement, but to be able to make music like I used to do with my band, like, it takes this great inner discipline. It's like an internal martial art, like Chinese internal martial arts. Anyway, so the Historiotheque is a studio space, but there's also the inner Historiotheque, which I won't get into right now, but that's an inward space where just mostly, which is where I live my life. That's my fundamental experience of reality, the phenomenological aspect to my art practice and to myself, as an individual, as a self. I am a human being, and I won't get into what that means, but basically the art operation is just me creating art all by myself in a one-man shop, and I do all the production, I have to I'm cleaning up the place. It's going to take a few months to rebuild the Historiotheque, start up again in January or February, a new session of creation. Now I'm just making small works on paper, just as a pastime, really.